Awesome. We are on location for an episode of Over a Brew in wonderful Gregynog. You can see the setting. It's fantastic. Although it's Over a Brew, we're not allowed to have brews with us because we are surrounded by art and history and important things. There's a Rodin behind me somewhere over there, which is amazing. And today we're joined by Simon and Leanne. We're going to get them to introduce themselves in a second. And this little mini episode, we're going to try and discuss a bit more about the ethos of Gregynog as a conference, where it's come from, where it is, where it's going. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Can I ask you to introduce yourselves and then we can get the conversation started?
Simon Palmer, Director of IT and Digital Vision at Gower College, Swansea.
Okay, and Leanne Howe, Teaching, Learning and Professional Development Manager at Gower College, Swansea.
Lovely. So I've got to my left the technical side of the college, and I've got to my right the digital learning, teacher training, all of that type of development. So we're going to see how those things fit. So my first question is, what is this about? For people who are watching, listening, they don't know what this is about. What is Gregynog about? What is this conference about? Where did it come from? Where is it going?
The conference started 26 years ago, when computers were new and everybody wanted to share and collaborate and work together. So it came out of some sponsorship from Welsh Government, led out of the universities mainly, and the universities were tasked with helping education generally. And the first computer systems that were put in colleges, taking away paper for the first time type thing, when there were typing pools, and trying to digitize, first of all, the student record system, the finance systems, things like that.
Okay.
I haven't been to them all, but I've been to a good number of them for the last 20 years, I suppose.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Was that before the internet as well? Or had it started? I was trying to do the maths in my head then.
So a big part of it was around putting internet into all the colleges as well. So 2 megabit megastream circuits was as far back as I remember. But I think there were slower links than that as well. And we're all multiple 10 gigabits these days.
Awesome. So long history with the development of internet, new digital technologies that replaced all the paper stuff. So as it developed, how did it develop to bring us to 2025?
So this year we've got a mix of digital and teaching and learning, and we've had this for a few years. The sponsorship for the conference to allow us to get together is mainly because of the amount of money that is in digital technology, and we felt that we needed to appreciate what the teaching and learning side of things were doing. So it invited them along a little bit later, it was, to be honest.
Yeah, so I think it's the last 4 or 5 years that it's been focused with a bit of T&L as that's moved into the classroom, isn't it? As technologies come into the classroom, and I feel quite new. When you say 2070, I feel quite new actually. I feel quite youthful. But yeah, this is when it moved into the T&L space, and I've been lucky enough to work with Simon to be putting sort of lots of sort of teaching and classroom focused agendas in the space. I mean, we talked about digital accessibility the first time I did it, and more integration of tools and those kind of things. But I think it's really moved on, and we've had evidence of that today, isn't it? We've really brought tech and teaching together, I think. I think that's been evident today. I don't know if you'd all both agree.
Yeah, lots of challenges on both sides, and appreciating each other's challenges, I think, is one of the keys to success all round.
That's lovely. So is this mainly for Welsh colleges?
It is mainly for Welsh colleges. We have had some neighbouring colleges from Shrewsbury, and we have had some invitees from English universities and things over the years.
I think the first time I came, colleagues from BCOT were here presenting on, I think they were doing something on body swaps a few years back. So,
And we had Cardiff University 2 years ago, I think, didn't we? Some of the Welsh HGs.
And Swansea University and Aberystwyth universities used to support the colleges in the regional support centres that JISC ran. And so that they were involved, and it was very nice, and it is very nice sometimes to get a university's perspective on what we're doing.
Lovely. So we kind of get a picture of where Gregynog comes from, where its inception was around. where is it going? What do we see in the next 5 years? How does Gregynog meet the needs of FE developments in terms of teaching and learning, IT developments, infrastructure developments?
Do you want me to go or you?
Go on, sure.
So I think it can't help but make it merge closer. You know, we have constraints, don't we, with budgeting and requirements and things, and the more demands we're putting on our infrastructure teams and our digital solutions teams, that's actually coming from business support, but it's also very much coming from the need for curriculum to move forward. So I don't think it can fail but come together. And I think we've seen today more sessions have been sort of harmonised, haven't they, and been suitable for both, covering those sort of infrastructure demands. And it's nice for the digital solutions and the tech teams to hear why we need things and what we want to do and what our aspiration is. Helps with the little bartering, you know. But it also helps then for us as teaching staff to understand why we can't just have everything at our door the minute we click our fingers. And I think that's quite important, isn't it? Like you said, hearing each other's challenges, but aspirations, and maybe helps us forge a bit more. And you mentioned this a bit, Simon, and I don't know if you want to come in, the opportunities for more collaboration and efficiencies in what we're doing so that we are moving forward. I don't know if that's what you...
I think like it was 26 years ago, there was something new. It was the internet, it was computers. And this year, it's the same. There's new AI tools that we're all trying to sort of get our heads around. There's pass keys and things, which are all sort of, we're just working out what to do with them, put them in our policies, share ideas around how we manage and sort of put some controls and frames around some of these new technologies. And we haven't got enough staff in our organisations, I feel, to do it sufficient justice on its own, and it's only by collaborating and discussing ideas and working out what we can do together, using expertise from one college that have really delved into a topic to try and learn from them.
Totally agree with that. And I know I've chatted with both of you in different situations around collaboration. What does it mean in terms of this step of, you meet at the conference, you share what you've been doing, you can have a chat with people and try and get a bit more context around what's happening. And I think, one, that's good for building relationships and being able to have that line of communication with someone as things develop. The one thing I hate, absolutely hate, I'm looking at the camera, hate, is when I go to conferences, I hear about something and then I'm completely disconnected from it and I'm again on my own. And I think everyone feels that to some degree, and especially if it's something you have to drive or develop and you're back, you feel like you're almost at square one. So I guess my question is, what do we mean? How does this collaboration need to develop for us not to stay at step one and to have some of that support going through?
I think we've been better at when you say the networking bit, better at recording what's gone on, better at asking questions, better at then sharing that information. I think that's what's happened before, isn't it? People just hold on to things because we were concerned about being like competitive. I think it's encouraging a bit more openness and transparency. So we've got to share that information, share those inquiries, share those connections. It's not about exchanging a business card or an NFC tag, which might pop up at some discussion at some point. I have one. My LinkedIn card is now an NFC tag. I can walk around with it and just like connect, whether you like it or not. And but it's about making sure that when these connections are made, that we follow up on these things. And something happened just before we started to record this, and a project has evolved, and we're going to move forward on it. But I think it's about having the right people in the spaces from both sides, from innovation. And I am really lucky to work with someone who's really positive and proactive, and in fairness puts up with me going, I want to do something right, and he's amazing at it, sort of like listening and trying hard to support within the constraints we've got. I think it's having the right people that are willing to move forward, attending these things. And the job title doesn't necessarily mean it. It's about the people that will do it. And I think that's what I feel today more than even previous ones. I think there are people that genuinely want to follow up and will follow up today. And I think that's really important.
Lovely. I think a lot of us have some autonomy over our roles and can make that decision to go and ask that person or go and spend a couple of hours with that person, because we often see things at other colleges that we want. And the onus on us is to go and do that sometimes. And that has worked with several of the projects that I've been working on. Sometimes when we move from college to college, we can take some of that with us, but also keep in touch with the communities that we've left and use that for mutual benefit.
I love that. And I love that you both touched on the element of personal responsibility of keeping a community going, because it can't be always about other people or an event doing it. It's us, isn't it? We all have to take some responsibility and put some of that time to build towards it. I love that. So before we finish with this mini episode, unless you want to add anything, what should we tell people who may be thinking of coming to Gregynog next year? Why should they come? For the Rotan?
We could come for the Return or the Occult Conference that was here on the weekend, and I'm dreading going to bed, quite frankly, just in case there's something left over. So, some spirit soul. Genuinely look at what we share and look at the outputs and look at this podcast and the following episodes that follow and understand, and then tag and follow those projects and the results that we will share through various other means like podcasts and websites to see that there is genuine result. They're not just talking shops. Then that's why you come. Watch for the product, watch for the output, and that's what I would say.
I would say try and mould the conference to what you want to get out of it as well. Leanne and I both on the planning group, and we are open to new members or open to suggestions, advice, speakers, different things. If it's not what you want now, we could easily and would appreciate any sort of
Love it.
with that.
Mold it into what you want it to be. Awesome. Thank you for taking part in the first mini episode of Over a Brew Gregynog. We're going to take a break and move to the next one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.